Good morning. This week we are going to start a unit on argumentative writing. You can use argumentative writing in an essay, in a speech, or if you are just planning on having a debate with somebody. The elements in argumentative writing can also be used in just informal debates that you might have with a friend or with someone else. So everybody has opinions. And in order to be heard and to make your point or to convince somebody else, there's some elements and strategies you can use to make yourself more convincing. We're going to look at 3 topics, and on a piece of paper somewhere, or you can type it out, whatever is easiest for you. I just want you to write one sentence stating whether you agree or disagree with one reason why. So number 1, should schools stop buying textbooks and instead spend their funds on electronic sources and educational tools? So that's what our school has done. What is your opinion on that? Write down agree, disagree, and one reason why. Okay. 2, should the sale of energy drinks such as Monster and Red Bull be prohibited to people under age 18? Write down if you agree or disagree and one reason why. Okay, number 3, should colleges stop using standardized tests such as the SAT and the ACT as part of their admissions process? So this one really depends on what your opinion is on standardized tests, which is like the iLearn or MAP testing that we do. Write down agree, disagree, and one reason why. Okay. The hardest part, figuring out where you stand, is done. Now you have to prove that you are right. Once you have decided on your opinion on something, you want to collect ways in which you can convince somebody else of your viewpoint. So how do you do that? You'll need 4 things. A claim, reasons, evidence, and counterclaim. So your claim is your stance on an issue. It needs to be bold. It needs to be something 2 reasonable people could have an argument about. It's also known as a thesis. So you've heard thesis before all year, and it's the same thing, but it's called claim when you're making an argument. Reasons. The main ideas or points that lead you to your claim. So think of these as large areas like historical precedent, personal experience, ethical considerations, financial effects, and lots of other reasons. This is actually a pretty huge area you can draw from for reasons. Evidence. Evidence is facts that support your claim. Research and cite reliable sources, so it's very important that they're reliable. Be sure to explain to your reader how the evidence proves your point. It's not enough to just list interesting data and facts. You connect the research to your claim with solid argumentation and voice. Counterclaim. Show that you're smart and have thought deeply about the issue by acknowledging the strongest point your opponents will likely make and then immediately take them down. So you always want to acknowledge the other side. To just ignore it will weaken your argument. You need to acknowledge something that the other side would say against you and then prove them wrong with your own evidence. So where should you place the counterclaim? There's kind of two ways you can do this at work. So again, with the counterclaim, you're very briefly summarizing your opponent's strongest argument and then quickly squash the point with your own strong rebuttal, which is your countering of their claim. So going against them, what you would say against them, and evidence. And then when I say very briefly, it's just a sentence or so. If you have too much counterclaim, then you're spending too much on the other side. You want to acknowledge them, but you don't want to end up convincing your reader that they're right. You want to stay very briefly in mentioning their claim. Right? In one approach, you can save the counterclaim until you begin the third body paragraph. So you've already developed your claim. You go ahead and open the third body paragraph with theirs, and then you prove why they're wrong for the rest of that paragraph. Another approach is to use one or two of the best counterclaim arguments to begin your first and or second body paragraphs. Keep these sentences brief if you do this, and then quickly pounce on your opponent's point by using clear reasons and strong evidence to prove that you're standing on the correct side of the argument. All right. If you have any questions at all over this presentation, just send me an email. Hey, thanks for listening.